Hello, everybody, and thanks for coming in to watch this or listen to it if you're on the radio. If you can see, then you know I have a huge panel with me this time. I don't think I've had this number of people ever before, so this is a first, and you're going to find out the reason why. Again, I'm EGBE MBIWAN MONJIMBO, and this is the Musings and Music Show coming to you on VOSA World Radio or VOSA World TV on YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead to start things off and have everybody introduce themselves. Now, I'm not sure how it looks like to you, so I'm going to go what I can see and start and go clockwise from what I have. So I will say first names, just so that I don't have to introduce you for you. I'm going to go ahead and say first name, and then you go ahead and tell us who you are. So I'll start with Mr. Emmanuel over there. Please go ahead and tell us who our viewers and listeners will be hearing from in the next few minutes.
It's a pleasure to be part of this program today. My name is Emmanuel Ndongla. I am the country director for Mom Orphanage Global Foundation. It's an NGO that's headquartered in the United States, and its main vision is to change lives and helping destiny with its mission to globally empower, enhance, and improve the quality of life of helpless widows and orphans by strengthening them through socioeconomic, education, healthcare, spiritual, career, and life skills initiative. Well, I have been, before I know my boss, Madam Jotu Veronique Atanga, I've been running an NGO, my personal NGO called Education of Future Initiative. But getting to knowing her about her story and why she joined the program, I said, I'm going to be a servant for Mom Orphanage Global Foundation for Life. That's why I am there. Besides, yeah, I'm also a human rights activist in Cameroon.
Wow. So where are you coming to us from today?
Say it again.
Where are you coming to us from? Where are you right now?
I am in Douala, Cameroon.
All right. So we know what effort it is that you have made to join us today. So you're welcome to the show. I'm going to keep going. And the person whose name you already mentioned, Miss Veronique, is right there. She's next. Please go ahead and talk to us.
My name is Veronique Atanga. As the general coordinator have said, he said a lot. That my story has been a long story, but we just thank God that for the heart that he gave me to do what I'm doing. I've done this for 13 years now, and it came through pain, that I discovered my destiny and the purpose that I was called for. So that is why I am doing this passionately with all my heart. That's why I had to join the other organization through their flyers that I saw, and I just joined. Nobody invited me, but because I see what they are doing, I said this is the perfect organization for me to be. Thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome. We're glad to hear that. And next on the list, there would be Dr. ALANIZ, who I can see is already wearing her surgical hat because she's actually at work. 1 minute, I just forgot to ask Miss Atanga where she's coming to us from.
From United States, Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Okay. On to Dr. ALANIZ. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. A few minutes ago, I actually had my braids and they're gone because I'm actually about to go into an urgent surgery that was not planned. So it sort of impacts a little bit of what we're doing, but I'm going to try to be in and out. So my name is Annie ALANIZ, originally last name Maseko. I'm originally from Malawi, and I'm a co-founder and president of Port Harrier International, which means safe haven. This is based in Salima, Malawi. And we provide, orphan care actually on campus where we have for children. So we have about 120 children that live in sort of like a home style orphanage where we do have parents that take care of a number of children. And these are really children that do not have any relatives or anybody that can take care of them. We have a primary school there where we actually provide education, because one of the requirements for our kids is that they're not just going to be institutionalized, but we actually provide education so they're able to take care of themselves in the future. So we have a primary school, we have a computer lab, and we're actually right now constructing a high school. And we also do some technical training, including a sewing program. We also have a women and children's healthcare center. I'm a gynecological oncologist by trade. And so naturally, you know, the care of women, especially with cancer, is something that's very close to my heart. So we have an outpatient clinic that sees about 200 to 300 patients a day. We have a birthing center there, and currently undergoing construction of a surgical center that will have about 4 operating rooms. And so, you know, I've been really privileged to be part of a group like this, you know, of Africans that are coming together, who are actually doing good things in Africa, betterment of the continent, you know. So I think for those of us who are sort of based in the US and in Africa, we know that when we're here, Africans seem to be coming from one country. And so I think really bringing that together instead of banding together for our continent has been such a beautiful blessing to me. So I'm very happy to be here, even though I'm going to be running back and forth between surgery. So I'm coming to you from Houston, Texas today.
Yes, we're glad to have you. Any bits that we can have is plenty. So thank you for being here. Next, we have the couple sitting right there in the center. I'm going around. You have the couple. So I don't know. I guess it's ladies before gentlemen. So lady, go ahead.
Okay, so thank you so much, Auntie EGBE. My name is EMELDA NDINJIAKAT, and I am the CEO and founder of Grace Gardens Women's Health Association. This association is created under Faith Gardens Medical Foundation International, which was started by my husband in 2013. But after my battle with cervical cancer, I decided to start working with women in Cameroon. And for now, we are in Dub and we are in Yaoundé particularly. The group has grown exponentially. We have more than 300 women that we work with, and we've gone beyond just talking about cancer to talking about domestic abuse. We talk about many other things, and then to make them self-sufficient, we decided to create a production team within the group. And so we have 45 women who produce soap, they produce Vaseline, glycerin, perfume, and many other things. We also have like an athletic team within the group, so you can come and see women in their 40s and 50s running and playing soccer, which is really, really interesting. Sometimes they play against the staff at Grace Gardens Hospital and other people around. And we have a music group. We have so many things that are happening within the group. So as we go with the interview, I know we'll talk more, but we are a very large organization, more than 300 women, and we are also focusing on windows for the past 2 years. Thank you.
That is a lot. That is a whole lot. It sounds like 8 lifetimes. They're going. Good job. And so let's have your husband speak too. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for having us. It's really an honor to be on your show. My name is Dr. Samuel Ndinjakat. As my wife said, we are the co-founder of Faith Gardens Medical Foundation International. That was started in Dallas, Texas in 2013 with the goal, our vision, to be the leader in building healthcare community. So Faith Gardens started in 2013, and by 2015, we had our hospital, Grace Gardens Hospital in Dub, became operational in 2018. And from there, the women's group came. So we do have a lot that we are doing. So Faith Gardens is based in the United States. It's a 501c non-profit organization with a mission going to Africa, not only Cameroon, even though we are in Cameroon for now. And it stands to Faith Gardens Medical Foundation International, that Grace Garden was born and Grace Gardens Women was born. And now we have a huge organization. For the hospital, we do have a surgical center. We have a primary care center that we treat about 500 patients every month, averaging 30 deliveries a month, just in that area alone. And she didn't mention the cervical cancer program, which has now become the major cervical cancer screening program in the whole of Kitunja, which we screen women and we do treatment also, and we have the opportunity to refer them. One of our newest program is the sickle cell program, which we have 200 sickle cell patients that come to our clinic every month. And it's been a challenge. So we are looking forward to, taking care of all these children. So as we go into the program, we are going to share more about what we do. We are actually logging in from Faith. Faith is a small city in Rockwell, about 30 miles from downtown Dallas in the United States.
Wow, we're glad to have you. I don't even know how you keep track of all the programs that you do. If it were me, I think I'd forget one or two. Maybe because there's a lot that you're doing of great work that you are doing. That's a great thing to hear. It's heartwarming to know. And I think Dr. Tita is next. Rachel, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you do.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Kencha Tita.
A little louder, maybe. Let me see if I can get this to be.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I'm joining you all from Sugarland, Texas, where our foundation was birthed. I actually started off as MedStar Global Foundation back in 2011, where we partnered with different groups in Africa, Eco Club, and some other initiatives for medical missions to the underserved areas in Africa. We went to Nigeria, in Lagos, Shagamo, different areas in West Africa for medical mission. And later on, Her Excellency Pastor Solange Gabice decided for us to get the ministry involved to add some, ministry work, prayers and all that while we work with these patients. So then we formed the Gilga, because we already had a Gilga ministry that was for prayers. So we decided to combine it as Gilga, because I believe in prayers first before everything. So we decided to add Gilga and MedStar Global Foundation. And even here in Houston, we feed the homeless. We do Bible studies with affiliate groups. And we also have a conference call for prayers with the women in Africa. We are in different locations. We are in the first city in Cameroon was Tico, where we did the Cameroon medical missions. At the time, Lady Kate Njoma was part of the group. And we went to Limbe with Dr. Nje. And now we are also in Limbe, and somewhere between Malfo and Limbe, right there at the borders, we have a location. And Her Royal Highness, as I call her, Pastor Solange, just came back, and we just birthed the Douala location in the Bonaberry area, where we have lots of IDPs, internally displaced, because we had been focused on the externally displaced at Ikoja, at the border of Manfe in Nigeria. So where we were helping lots of the Cameroonians that had run away from the war. We provided healthcare, we provided food for them, especially post-holidays and during the summers. And we also provided sewing machines for those that were trying to learn the trade. We sponsored some micro economy, which we also initiated in Tico. We had over 20 women that received a gift of at least 25 to 50,000 to add to their capital as a gift. It's now that it has been converted to a micro economy where they have to give back. And when we see how well they're doing, then we turn to want to add more or to have them continue. So it has been a wonderful experience. We also have a location in Yaoundé, which was like the highlight part, the highlight of our group, because Pastor Solange would tell you, I was not feeling Yaoundé. But then when we did our studies, we realized that there are also lots of IDPs in certain areas in Yaoundé. And we have orphanages both in Limbe and in Yaoundé that are part of that we sponsor. We supply their medications for the kids. So we take care of their health and everything. And also we pay for some medical treatments. So I'll allow Pastor Solange, that now that she's out, to continue to introduce herself and bring out the other sides of Gilga and MedStar Global Foundation. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for telling us or giving us that rundown, so we have a much better idea of what the ministry is about. But just before I welcome and call on Reverend Gabice to speak, we had Mr. Che Melvin there. Oh, we just lost him, it looks like, because he'd been on there and he's the one person who hadn't spoken yet. So I wanted to give him the chance to speak and introduce himself. Just as he was trying to run away and escape, it's your turn, sir.
Yeah. Good evening to the crew. Good evening.
Good evening. So you're welcome.
Thank you. My name is Che Melvin. I'm coming in from Cameroon, Yaoundé to be more precise. I'm with the Moms Orphanage.
Okay.
Here in Cameroon. I am a public health specialist, and I'm just joining the NGO as a project coordinator for the NGO. So with time, I think I'm going to know more about the NGO, and from there we'll take ahead.
Okay, you're welcome. And now over to Her Excellency. We saved the best for last. Yes. So go ahead,
okay. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure being on VOSAWORLD Radio. Everyone knows I follow her on social media because she comes with lots of, funny things and good things. And as the name goes, I'm Solange Gabice, Reverend Pastor, whichever way they want to call me, Ambassador, it's okay. Founder of Gilga Prayer and Praise Ministry, now incorporated as Gilga and MedStar Global Foundation. Okay. So Rachel has already told you a lot of things that we do and some more. We specialize in a lot of ministry work, humanitarian work here in the United States and in Africa. When I say Africa, right now we've touched Nigeria and Cameroon. Looking forward to going to Kenya and maybe to Malawi with Dr. ALANIZ.
There you go.
That's like what we do. Like last December, we went to Cameroon, went to 3 different Yaoundé, Tiko, Limbe, the medical missions, and all that. We have orphanages that we support. We provide also tuition for children in the orphanage. We have an orphanage where we pay tuition for a whole year for 15 students.
Wow.
Going from elementary school to secondary school. Because, of course, as orphans, most of the time they live on the free will of all of us. And also right now, we are going into doing retreats for, as we know, I didn't say my training. I'm kind of a little bit of jack of all trades. But master of all.
Yeah, that's the difference.
We're setting up right now a retreat center. We know that a lot of times the people that are going through a lot of things and somebody just want to get away. And we thought that was a niche in our community in Houston, Texas. So we are setting that up right now. We're going to start next month. And it's always been my pleasure working with Dr. Sam and his beautiful wife because they're full of energy. Their energy sometimes, I see a mail from EMELDA, I'm like, no, I thought I had some break. It's been a wonderful year. And now recently we welcome Ms. Veronique Atanga to the group. And I know she's coming with so much energy. Yeah, Brother Emmanuel here, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Chair, in Yaoundé, we have a Gilga and MedStar Center for Humanity in Yaoundé in Simba. It's a whole compound. So we may need to do some work with you as well.
Okay.
And I'm also a UN Goodwill Ambassador. I was appointed in 2021 as one of the United Nations Goodwill Ambassador to the world. And that involves a little bit of travel. And last year I visited some countries, including Ghana, that I always look forward to going to. This year, we're going to Antigua, Barbados, we're going to Geneva, and the list just goes on. And we all know what the UN is about. It's the biggest umbrella of I would say, non-profit organization or humanitarian activities. So I'm one of the Goodwill Ambassadors for the United Nations. Above all, I'd just like to be me and in the presence of these wonderful people and Yes, I'm on VOSAWORLD Radio.
You're all so very welcome. I'm telling you, this is quite a panel right here. But you've heard them talk about everything individually, what they do individually. But there's a reason they are all here together. Some of them have already let the cat out of the bag. If you've been listening, I'm glad to be here with this, I'm glad to be here with that. And so you can tell. So that's where the whole thing of Partnership for Humanity, am I correct with the name?
Yes.
Partnership for Humanity comes.
Organizational partnership.
Organizational Partnership for Humanity. That's the full name for it. First of all, whose idea was it to form the partnership? So I can know who to actually applaud directly.
Okay, let me say, EMELDA.
EMELDA.
I attended SECA. I'm affiliated with so many things, SECA. So
right.
STAR, they had a conference in Houston. And I attended that conference. And of course, I have my sister-in-law, Dr. Rachel, and my dear sister, Marie, may I so rest in peace. And they were like, Ma, you got to attend, and I attended. And I stood up and said something. And my sister Imelda walked up to me that she just heard me say something about Gilga, what we do. And she wanted to get to know me better. And that's how the whole thing started. And then I called Dr. Rachel. I said, oh, Dr. Rachel is my partner. So we started talking. And Imelda came up with the idea of let's get together and form this partnership. And so far, it's been working so well.
We can tell. And let me mention that Dr. ALANIZ was at that same conference to the same
ALANIZ
she was the keynote speaker.
She was a keynote speaker. And I was glued listening to Dr. ALANIZ.
It was amazing.
One person went through all this and she can still stand up and talk.
Right, right. And so I think we just had an idea. Light bulb just went on in my head. As STAR, Dr. Rachel and I are members of STAR, we will actually bill you for this, for being the foundation. We'll be sending a bill to each of you to pay for for presenting the platform that got you all together.
Yes.
But you can tell from what you've been doing that it is medical, it's also faith-based. Everybody has come on here and talked about the medical part of things, but everybody's mentioning prayer. You have a reverend, pastors, ambassadors in there. People's names are Faith Garden Ministries. And I'm glad to hear that because some of us believe what we believe. We know that the two go together. That's who really does. You do the stuff because these days, God doesn't really come down and touch people's cheeks and mouths and everything anymore. He walks through people like you.
Right.
But we know who actually does the healing. So I'm glad to hear that there's that combination of things happening. So it was Imelda's idea to start this. And so how has it worked so far? What are the projects that you people have done together, if at all you've done any of the projects together? Because I've had individual projects already. What have you done together so far? Who wants to take that? Maybe Imelda, the person the catalyst, may want to start.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, our theme has been building bridges, impacting lives. And every time we hold a meeting, we don't want to change that theme. You know how most of the time you're with different groups and the theme of the event changes all the time. But we have a feeling that this theme really summarizes what we believe in and what we do together, that it is very difficult to change. So we are building bridges and impacting lives. That's what we are doing. And our focus for now is Africa, but by God's grace, we really want to go international. To your question, what we have done together, we have organized successfully two great fundraisers. The first one was here in Dallas in 2022, where we even invited, and the mayor of Garland came and attended the event, and we tried to showcase everything that we were doing. That was really an amazing event. And then last year, we decided to go and meet our sisters in Houston, and so we went and did another fundraiser in Houston together. And we are really gradually making ourselves known, even though we are young. I feel that like we've really been impactful. And in our meetings, when we talk, we have our short-term goals, we have our long-term goals. And our goal really is to keep coming together. And someday you'll hear us traveling maybe to Malawi, like one of our members was saying, and other countries together to really impact lives everywhere. So we just started in 2022. We've been together for 2 years, and we are really looking forward to seeing what the future holds for our organization.
Right. When you were talking, when you said that about impacting the world, I saw the expression on Madam Atanga's face. He's like, you can tell that you all are passionate about what you do. And without that passion, what you do is not even possible to do, because there's a lot of challenges there and things. If you don't have a heart for it, you would not really achieve much. And I must applaud you all, because most of the time, the stories we hear coming out of Africa and even Africans are usually not the positive ones. We have issues of not wanting to collaborate. It's a me thing. I want to do it by myself. You come join me, you just dissolve and melt into what it is that I am doing. Whereas I'm glad to hear here everybody still has their thing that they're doing. They've named the names, people have orphanages and stuff, but you've understood the magic that there is in pulling together. Because now together you are stronger that way. And everybody has their own strengths that God endowed them with. So you come in there and somebody is able to do this part, you do your own part, and you feel your own, each person manning their own post, and you're able to do what it is that you say you are, you already done in the 2 years you've existed. But I'm wondering, where are you looking to go next? Because I'm wanting to know what you've done already, but what are you looking to? What's the future of this? What are the plans? Like Mr. Melvin there said, okay, I've just joined. So he's joined. Maybe he like me wants to know, what is this thing I've joined? What are we expecting to see happen in the near future?
Maybe the man in our midst, our man, Dr. Sam, can answer that.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the question. You can see. I want to go back a little bit to say the power in numbers is really very, very important, especially for us from Africa, where we expect somebody to come and do the work for us. When you listen to each of the organization and the passion behind why each of the organization, why they started the organization, our goal is to actually live our vision or our theme. So if we are making a difference by impacting life, we can only do this by going down into the field.
Exactly.
So the goal for this organization, now we are going to talk about our next fundraiser that is coming up. We want to continue to grow. We want to be able to have an office where we can run everything. You know, you have to set up a good structure. If you want to succeed, you have to have a good structure. And when I find myself in a group where you have doctors, you have all these administrators, all great leaders who are for humanity, we are looking forward to not only as my dear wife. I think the group, they don't like when I call her my wife, but Imelda. So she is the brain behind everything. And as she said that, we are looking forward. For now, we are going one step at a time. We want to make sure that the first step, we have a good structure in place. As you will be hearing, we're inviting all our listeners. We say this, the power in numbers is very, very important. There are many out there. We are a young organization. We're looking, if you have an office space you want to share with us, we're looking to set up an office place, to get a website going. Once we get all of this in place, we have wonderful leaders who are already doing excellent work. We start visiting one countries after the next. The key is sustainability.
Right.
In the past, we believe in just going to Africa and you give little things here and there. How can we make a difference? Sustainability, capacity building, training leaders on the field. That is really, really key if we're going to make a difference. So that is just the beginning. And as I'm already calling out there, if you are listening to us, we are not here because we're perfect. We are just starting something that you might be the one that will make a difference in the life of just one person in a little place. You might just be the one that you are an expert in building this website. You might just be the one that you are an expert in helping us set up our structure. We're calling on you to join us.
And my job is to amplify that call. That's the reason I'm doing this at all. That's the purpose of this whole. It's community oriented. This whole VOSA world thing, or I will not be in it, because but I applaud you for studying, because other people come and just join maybe down the road, but the pioneers who actually have that vision are who I applaud even the most, because you don't have much to go by, but you're deciding to still start and grow from there. So that's the whole purpose. I'm hoping somebody is listening who has a skill to offer. Maybe other medical people in the medical field, like he said, maybe architects, maybe somebody with land he wants to donate so they can build and do and go on with these things. And others is the finances. You can't do it your own self. You don't have, but you can at least pay or sponsor somebody to get that done. So I'm glad it's already gone ahead and done, giving me that appeal. I noticed that Dr. ALANIZ is maybe back and has a moment or two. Maybe this is the time we should give her the opportunity to speak. So go ahead, please.
Yeah. So I was just going to add a little bit to what he said in terms of, there's an African proverb, the one that says, if you want to go faster, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. And I think if we literally take that and look at even just the people that are here and the different skill sets that everyone has, and the amount of skill sets that are with Africans that are within Africa, Africans that are living in Europe, and in the United States of America. I mean, there are many, many brains that I think if all the Africans really banded together, the power that we have to actually transform our continent is there. There are billions of dollars that Africans actually send individually, probably to their families, to build homes. And like I was saying, we do most things in isolation as individuals, but the power that we have as a group is really where it is. And I think part of the reasons we're even talking about going to each one of our countries and seeing the work that we're doing is because we know that we're better together than we are apart. Somebody will go to Malawi and say, hey, I think you have a need here. We do that better in Cameroon. We have this guy who has helped us create this and this and this. And we can use the skill set from Cameroon to help us do it better in Malawi. I was sharing with this group not that long ago when we started building the surgical center. I didn't know where to find anybody that would help me build a surgical center. And one of the beautiful things about the sustainability, like we're talking about, there was actually a young man from Zambia who was trained by a United States architect to actually build a surgical center in Mukinge Hospital in Zambia. I was able to actually get contact with this young man in Zambia who now has a skill set to actually lead as a project manager to an extent where I didn't need to find the architect from Kentucky to move to Malawi to help us build a surgical center. We went and found this young Zambian guy who is now actually with us in Malawi, helping us build a surgical center. And he's going to leave that skill set with the group that he's working with in Malawi. The next time somebody wants to build a surgical center in Malawi, we don't need to look in Zambia. There will be other guys now that can build surgical centers within Malawi because we are training our own, right? And so part of this is all of us finding each other's resources and sharing those resources to make our individual organizations better, our organizations as a collective together, and really Africa as a collective better together.
That's the way it works. That's the way it has to be. And I like that sustainability word for you as a collective, but also like what Imelda had mentioned before, teaching the people that you're helping so they can go further down the road. Because you treat them, then they're well, and then what? So they go back and live in their homes, and maybe the same poverty that they're suffering will get them sick again, and they'll come right back to you, and it's going to keep going in a cycle like that. That's not going a never-ending cycle. But if you now teach them what you said, you're teaching them how to make soap, how to do things, so that they themselves can sustain themselves and their families and replicate that down the road, then people's lives really get changed that way. So I'm glad to hear that. So she talked about there's plans, and you've made an appeal already. How do people, let me just go ahead and say that then to piggyback on it before, if somebody listens to that appeal, how do somebody has listened, their medical doctor, they have the finances, and then they contact who to give these resources, to offer these resources and skills?
So that's a very good question. Even as we speak, I was speaking yesterday with a website developer, because we are going to create a website where all the organizations are present, and you'll have a link in that website where you can donate even via PayPal, because I know that internationally people don't have Zelle, people don't have Cash App, and they don't have that for now. But for now, what we are doing, if you have any finances that you want to give, I would love to give you like the name of the website. We use our website for now, but every bit of money that comes in is used collectively. So it's faithgardensmedicalfoundation.com.
So it's all, that's all one long word.
Yeah, it's all one long word, faithgardensmedicalfoundation.com. When you go on there, there's a PayPal link and you can donate any amount that you would love to donate. And it's going to be shared equally amongst all the organizations. And then just to highlight, whenever we get that money, we make sure that we use it and we report back and people know through the events that we have in November how the money that they donated was used. So that's one of the ways that you can give. Also, we have a Cash App number because I know some people are not really good at going to the website. So you can go in and then you look for EMELDA, EMELDA, NDINJAKAT, NDINJIAKAT. I know that that's a mouthful. And then you will find me there. Once you donate, you write there for OPH, Organizational Partnership for Humanity, and I'll know that it's meant for our organization.
All right. That was.
I want to yes. add also, she left out the Zelle. Her Zelle is still EMELDA NDINJAKAT, and the phone number is 972-795-8536. And
just say it one more time. So this is for the radio people, because the TV people, YouTube people can always rewind and listen again. But the radio people are the ones who need to hear it again a little slower. The number again.
The Zelle number is 972-795-8536.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was for Zelle.
For Zelle.
Correct.
And for the Cash App, you look for EMELDA NDINJAKAT. So it's EMELD as in David, A apple. The last name is NDINJAKAT. N Nancy, D David, I Indigo, N Nancy, J John, I Indigo, A apple, K Kennedy, A apple, T Tom.
There you go. Those of us who have our names. But you see, if you go to the website that she had mentioned before, you would see their names written there. Yes. And for those of you who are watching, you can see their name written right there that you can actually copy down and go find. The bottom line is there's nothing you cannot find these days. If you're looking for it, you will find it. Google and find it.
I want to add that if you are in the United States or it is a 501c organization, means that all what you give is tax deductible.
Correct.
You are definitely going to receive a receipt before you file your tax. And Her Excellency is an expert in this area. She will remind you of that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So you know that this is money which, if you donate, which there's no amount too little, there's also no amount too large. You can tell, you know what it's going for. Is there a way, I'm just asking, can somebody earmark what they're donating and say, I want to give this specifically for children, for women, for so and so thing?
Yes.
Do people do that?
Yes.
Yes. So when you say for OPH, you just specify that it's going towards orphans. Make sure that you do specify that, because for now it is my private account, but we are going to have one for the group created really soon. So make sure that you specify for OPH and then maybe going towards orphans or going towards widows or going towards IDPs or whatever just make sure that you specify that. And then we are going to make sure that it goes towards that purpose.
Okay, well understood. Because there's some people who have, for certain reasons, maybe their life experience, something has happened in their lives that make them particularly attached to some particular cause. Somebody whose mother was widowed, who raised her by themselves, it has a soft spot in their heart for widows. Others for orphans, because they been orphaned themselves. People's stories are different. And I believe God puts that in people's hearts. You have a passion for something. And He lays it in another person's heart, a passion for this other kind of thing. So you have a whole melting pot here. There's no way you cannot find something amongst all of these people. Yeah. You cannot find one cause that is after your own heart that you'd want to go ahead and sponsor and support. Because these things I'm talking about sound so good and you're going, oh my goodness, that's so great. But you cannot stop at that's so great. You actually have to make it work. That's so great. Words have never done anything. They can spur us and get us riled up and everything. but you do have to put your money where your mouth is, because there's no plane that just flies without any gas, for what to be better word, any fuel in it. You need that fuel for that engine for it to keep going. So we complain about the politics, we complain about the state of things in our respective countries, but then there are things that we can do at our own little levels, and that is what they seem to be all about right here.
Lives.
Right. Impacting lives, as she just said, making a difference. There should be somebody who goes to bed thanking God, even if they don't know your name, but they're thanking God for you, that you exist. Because if you did not exist, they would not be eating, they'd not be going to school, there's something it will be missing in their lives. And so you are going to bed there, and somebody is sitting there praying for you and blessing you and just happy about you. And that is what we are really here, bottom line, to do. I don't know if anybody else now wants to talk about the November, because she has mentioned November. I heard it. November. I'm going, yeah, that's my birthday month. I will turn 60, believe it or not.
Oh my goodness.
I heard that. I'm going, oh, November's coming. So what is it about November? Because I've heard it mentioned. What is going to happen in November?
Well, I think maybe our newer organization, she hasn't said much. I know she was
Exactly.
a little bit of our
right. She has smiled beautifully, but she hasn't said much.
Yeah, so you can because we are planning it together here in Dallas. So if she has anything to say and we can add to that, that would be great.
Okay.
Wow. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Coming November. And if I can say, I joined this group because of the flyer I saw. I came to the conference in Dallas without me being invited. When I saw the theme, I said, this is what is my mind. Then I joined. So in that November, that's why we are calling everyone, as our host said, we cannot do anything without fuel. We cannot do anything as we join our hands together. It's a lot for us to do. This year, we already did half of the year. By coming November, December, Thanksgiving, November is a time for Thanksgiving. So we are just calling on everyone to come on that day and just give your heart on that day in November. So coming December, for the orphans that they'll need to eat some rice, some chicken, we're going to have the money to share.
Correct.
So we are planning it so hard. We are planning it so serious on that November. We're going to have another conference in Dallas.
Do we have a date yet for this?
November 16th.
November 16th. Okay. Yes. So we have, the people can hear well in advance and not say, I didn't have anything, start to put the money aside now, and either fly out there and join them or donate towards it with the various methods that you've heard that you can actually help donate and actually join a good thing. Join something which, as the ALANIZ says, if we all put our resources together, then we can take it. It's just like what tontines and jangis back home. You, it's your turn to eat this month. Okay, Malawi. Next time it's your turn to eat this month. Okay, Tico. Next time it's your turn to do this. And we all get together and do things which we would never have been able to do on our own. It is that's a very African thing to do, which is one of the legacies that we have that are, it's like our forefathers thought about these things ahead of time, and we should not lose it. So if I sit here with my little bit of money, I cannot do the project. But if all of you come together and fund my own project now, it gets done. Then the next time too, I can fund yours. And we keep doing it like that till, as they say, they expand and keep going to more places happen. Because I know what's going to happen now. People are going to say, okay, when are they coming to Bafusam? We're over here in Kumba. When are you coming over there? Yeah. Well, that's how to get them to go over there.
In addition to that, EMELDA is having a program in June, in next week. Exactly. That's why when she told me, I'm so excited. That's why I'm telling all our CEOs that we need to inform the other people for us. When she told me, I was so excited. I called my coordinator, Mr. Emmanuel, and we are now preparing to go and join the widows. We are sending our own widows from Bamenda. We have 120 widows. Some of them are going to support EMELDA in DOP. I'm so excited. Yes. We are planning to go there big.
Yes. This is awesome.
Yes. On Saturday, we cannot wait for them to come and give me a report. So they are so excited. The widows themselves, they are contributing. I told them, is so excited for them to go and join another organization, another of their sisters, to see how they are doing things. They are so excited to go.
And then they can network and find out what works. It is an amazing thing. It's an amazing. When you don't work alone, and you can be thinking, I'm going through this thing, I'm alone in this problem. You find somebody else.
Everybody wants to go. The whole of everybody wants to. All those widows, they want to go so bad.
Yeah. Well, if I may add to that, that day is going to be the 3rd anniversary of the Grace Garden Women Health Association. And it all started because she had a training and education of the women's breast cancer screening. And I also wanted to tell our listeners, we are looking for sponsors, not only for that anniversary, but for the event coming up November 16th. If you have a business and you want to buy tables and you come in a group, it's also an opportunity for you to showcase your business and also to support us. So if you are listening, we'll be in Dallas and we're looking for sponsors.
Okay, so the sponsors can actually come. Maybe, for example, are you planning on doing things like a table for them, and they get a chance to speak, or maybe adding their names to the backdrop, kind of that kind of thing?
Yes, exactly. If you contact this video whenever it is going to be aired, I'm going to add the link below of several things. Number one, I'll add the new website on the link below, so make sure that you look out for that. If you want to be a sponsor, you can find a way to contact us through that website, and then we are going to include you. We can add you to the backdrop, and we encourage everybody to buy. We get a table usually at $1,000 for a table of 10 people. So if you can come and join, we are going to make sure that you are our VIP and you can sponsor for a long time. We are looking for sponsors, not just for the event, but some organizations. A lot of Africans, not just Africans, whoever is listening have businesses. You have home health organizations, you have different organizations that you have. Just let us know that you want to sponsor us somehow, and we are going to work with you. But look forward to the link and things that I'm going to add under this video for every information, because some people may be asking, yes, it's November 16th, and what time, the location. You are going to see the flyer and all of that information below this video once everything is settled. We already have our save the date that we already printed. All of that is going to be added in so that you can get all the information. If you want to come to us physically and you said you heard about us through VOSA World, that would be amazing. On the day that you come to the event, tell us that you heard us on VOSA World, and we will really be happy to be with you.
That's part of the networking right there. That's part of that networking right there. That would be a great thing, because we've been doing you see, and every little bit you do, you'd be amazed. It counts. It goes somewhere. I had Dr. Kilo here and Dr. Kilo here talking about autism, and one day I got a call from her. She was calling me from Bamenda in Cameroon and saying, "Guess what? I have just met a physician right here, a pediatrician right here, who says, are you the one that was on that video? I saw it, and I've used what you said on that video to actually be able to detect and identify signs of autism in some of the children that I have been able to meet in this clinic." And that just blew my mind and made my day. Wow. So these things you sit here and say and do, invariably, every single one of them goes out, somebody listens, somebody benefits, somebody has something that they can suggest to make it bigger. And this is listened to in Cameroon as well. I'm guessing you might want sponsors from there too to help you with your things. There's MTN people, there's Orange people, there's all kinds of banks and private things. I'm sure if they're listening, it's a win-win situation. You advertise yourself, and then you end up helping for a good cause. It makes you look good and it helps them with their work. So I'm making my own appeal too and saying, everywhere people can use the help. Mr. Emmanuel Ndongla has not said anything for a bit, so I'm trying to see whether he has anything to contribute to this. Do you?
Oh, I'm a very good listener. I'm just enjoying everything. I'm seeing how it's connected, because I joined this meeting not up to a month ago, because the theme connects with the vision of Mom Orphanage Global Foundation, because it's impacting lives, and Mom Orphanage Global Foundation is doing the same thing too. So I feel that, organizational partnership is there to accelerate the reach of NGOs and impact at the same time. So, and what I enjoy with the Alliance is that there is love. I know love is kind and patient. Love doesn't brag. So I feel at home actually being part of the system.
You belong. You feel like you belong there. That's the thing, because if you don't buy into the vision, there you just will end up being what they call a dead weight there. But if you are there, instead you're an asset and help to push things along. And if you get the solid foundation that I think you're on your way to getting, then you know that even years after we are not here anymore, it will continue down the road. Because, it continue down the road.
It makes it even easier because for the past 4 months, I've been able to move to 4 different African countries. And we are doing because MOGF, Mom Orphanage Global Foundation, really wants to have network in almost all the African countries. And so every little opportunity that we go there, we means that when we are carrying ourselves to the next country, we are carrying ourselves with OPH, you know. So everything is working and it's going to be lighter for everyone.
Yes.
That's how it works. That's how it works. I see Dr. ALANIZ nodding. I see Ambassador Gabice nodding as well. And I cannot wait to see, because I know she is going to be here in Charlotte not too long from now, in a couple of weeks, with Dr. Rachel. We are doing the same kind of thing at our Sicaritas Global Alliance thing, the place where you all met. That is the mission. That is the goal as well, to just make things better. I mean, if you are blessed, as they say, you are blessed to be a blessing. That's the whole idea. There's no reason you can give why God chose you to not be in the situation somebody else is in. But at least you can tell that if you were spared it and you're still here, you're supposed to. It is an obligation that you should do to help somebody else, one more person, have a better lot in life than if they had not met you. So I don't know if anybody wants to add anything else. Please feel free.
Yeah, let me say something.
Please go ahead.
I'm not going to be the last speaker, I'm sure. Yeah, as we talking, and I hear Ms. Monjimbo talking. I just said most of us on this organization, out of our pain came something wonderful. They said, adversity has a way of eliciting talents in you that during normal circumstances will stay dormant. A lot of us have gone through some kind of pain to start to say, you know what, if God made me come through this, I will help some other person.
Right.
May not be sickness, maybe financial difficulties, maybe you were widowed or something, divorced, anything, and God brought you out. You're like, you know what, I'm not going to see another child go hungry, because once upon a time I was hungry too,
right?
And someone helped. I went through this sickness, like Imelda, like Veronique here. This thing came out as a passion out of what they went through. And God saw them through. And now they're giving back to the community. They're reaching out to help some other person. That's why we all here. Did I listen to Dr. ALANIZ? I was really like, oh my God, she came from this and see who she is today. And I know there's someone out there. There are people out there that may be going through whatever they're going through. Just know all is not lost. OPH is here to reach out, in whichever way we can reach out and touch and help in whichever way, according to our ability to do so. And you hear us talking about we need fuel to run this. As a pastor, I always say it takes money to run the gospel. It takes finances to do what we are doing. So we are still there appealing, because we're 2 years young, but we're already doing a lot to impact humanity. That's all I wanted to say. That out of our pain, this has been made.
Yep. That's a valuable lesson. Yes. I used to call it, like when I tell somebody, why you waste your suffer? You've already had the issue. If you sit down there and just spend the rest of your life crying and struggling, you have done absolutely nothing with that pain. You take it and use it as a springboard to do something else that actually is That's probably why you even went through that to start with. Because that's some of us believe that is
training
how
ground.
it is a training ground. That is, you go and you get some of us starting to preach here.
Yeah.
Joseph going from the pit to prison to Potiphar's wife and the whole 9 yards. That's how he became prime minister down the road with all of that training. None of it was a waste. So I call it wasting your sofa. If you sit down there, you already get the sofa.
Yeah.
It has already come and met, and you've already gone through that. What are you going to do with it? And I'd like where we live here, Americans, they have mothers against drunk drivers. Why are they? Who are those? Why that group?
Those are
People whose
mothers
children,
who were killed by drunk drivers.
Exactly. So
I used to donate to them every now and then.
Correct.
Because I'm against drinking and driving.
There you go.
Yeah. They are called MAD, MAAD.
Exactly.
All the mothers there have lost children through drunk driving.
What good would it do if I already lost your child? But now what are you doing? You're using that to say, okay, let's band together and see how we can prevent this same thing we've gone through from happening to somebody else. And you go and do it that way. That if you have that mindset, we really can do things for our respective countries, for our continent, in general, to make things better. Anybody else had something that they wanted to add or say?
Let me see. I'll just say something really quick, and then Dr. Sam, I know he's been itching to say something, but I just wanted to say that usually, not to blame our African culture or anything, but usually when people hear about fundraiser, especially in Africa and things, it's something that is not too attractive. For some reason, I'm not sure why. If you invite people to come and drink maybe and then get drunk in a party and stay all night, that you'll see the hall will be full and overflowing and everybody will be drinking and they'll go home and say they had a nice party. But I am just pleading to our African counterparts, let's just do something a little bit different. Let's just come to an event where you actually use this money, not just use $1,000 on a bottle of alcohol that you will drink and then the next day it's no longer going to be there, but you are actually going to change the life of somebody. You will actually change the life of a widow forever. You are actually going to send children to school who otherwise would not have gone to school. You are going to help orphans. You are going to help disabled people. That is something that you are going to leave a legacy, not just for you, but for your own generation. It's more impactful. I am all for having a great time, but sometimes let's just also prioritize on people's lives and make their lives different, like different than we met them. That will really be something that even when you go to bed, you'll be like, oh, wow, I did something amazing. What we are doing is not easy. A lot of us don't sleep. I literally worked last night and I am for an interview. I am doing this because we are passionate for people. We are not getting anything out of it. So that's all I wanted to add, and then I'll give it to Dr. Sam. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think she already said you have Dr. ALANIZ, who is in Malawi. If you can't go to Malawi, Dr. ALANIZ is available to go to Malawi.
There you go.
If you cannot help a child in Malawi who is in school, Dr. ALANIZ is available to take that little donation to Malawi. If you cannot help somebody in Cameroon because of the crisis, and you have just one little salt to give them, you have Dr. Rachel and Her Excellency Dr. Gabice. I wanted to just share this, Ms. Monjimbo, you and I and my wife, we have had an opportunity to work on a conjoined twins in Cameroon. When you talk about pain, I remember that. If you just want to help, even in a medical, like you have somebody who has diabetes, and you just need to help to be able to provide their medication in Cameroon. You have the ambassadors here who can do that. There are many, so you just keep naming, name and names. So we're calling on you, just like she said. If you can just come and join us, support in whatever way you want.
Right.
Again, the number is 972-795-8536 if you want to Zelle. EMELDA NDINJAKAT.
Thank you.
Very, very well said. And we need to also stop thinking you need to have $1,000 before you can say, okay, I have $1,000 that I'm giving. It can be $100. That's where that whole widow's mite thing comes from. You give it and then God will bless it. The 5 loaves and 2 fish, and then you multiply it, but you have to first give the 5 loaves and the 2 fish Because if it were that, Jesus could just stand there and say, please just rain down fish and bread and let people eat. The little boy had to come and give what it is that he had. Then he multiplied it. So it's not your job to really worry how, okay, what will my $100 do? So you don't give it? No, you go give the $100. Somebody else will say, what will my $100 do? And then they come and give it. And then next thing you know, it's $1,000 that can do something. And that was just going to bless somebody. It's really not our business to worry about how will it do. Just go give it what you do have. Before you know it, that $100, you just go and Domino's Pizza is what you paid that same $100 and got some chicken wings and things that didn't do a thing for you except add your health problems. You could have sent it for somebody else for the people to put it to good use. So that's the thing. They're asking you to be the hands and the feet. If you're not going to go, you can really sit in your air-conditioned home, chill, and just go and just pick up your cell phone and do the Zelle thing. It's gone. And that your little Zelle you sent from your air-conditioned home is sitting there providing for a widow who would have gone to bed hungry. It's providing shoes for a kid, sending them to school. You never know who that kid is going to be tomorrow. And I believe when you get to heaven, somebody's going to come and shake your hand and say, you know what? Had it not been for you, I wouldn't have had the life that I ended up having. So you never know how what you do impacts people. So I'm just continuing to appeal and appeal and appeal. Find it in your heart to do something, to just not sit back, to do something. Or you don't have the right to complain if you're not done anything. You can't say, oh, this Africa, I do not know where we're going. And you're going on and on. We have our issues. I'm not saying we don't have them. But you can do something to also to alleviate the whole situation for somebody else. Was the ALANIZ going to say something? I see she came on back.
Yeah, I'm still in between. I was actually doing surgery. The beauty of what they call robotic surgery, where you can actually sit on a remote robot and do surgery at the same time. That's where I was able to be on the screen and operating at the same time. So now I'm just waiting for some feedback from our pathologist to decide if I'm done or if I need to do more. So what I was gonna add was this, and I can't remember exactly who had said this saying, but it was something like, you're never really going to find your true self until you've done something for someone who can never repay you. I think often in life, we tend to look around the room. We want to align ourselves with people that we think are important. We want to align ourselves with people that we think are going to take us to the next step in life. We want to give to somebody that looks like, oh, if I give them today, they're going to give me something tomorrow. But there's something really beautiful and authentic and humane about giving to someone that you may never meet, you may never know, and they will never be able to repay you or even come in person and say thank you to you. But the impact that person would have, the actual ripple effect of that giving is something that can literally be world changing. And we all have different stories here, and I've shared my story with this group. So I actually grew up in a tiny village outside of Salima. I was your African story that you would find in the textbooks of a kid that lives and sleeps on the floor, gets up in the morning, puts her little textbooks in a plastic bag, and runs barefooted to a school that's probably 10, 15 miles away from home. I grew up carrying water on my head, like literally going to a well, throwing a bucket into the well and pulling it up and carrying water and taking it home and putting it in drums so we can actually boil water for drinking, boil water for even bathing, right? By all means, I attended most of my elementary school under a tree. The reason I'm standing here today in my surgical attire right now, performing gynecological oncology surgery at one of the largest hospitals in Texas, is because somebody decided that maybe they couldn't change all of Africa, but they thought I was a very talented child. I had potential, and looking at me in that village, I was going nowhere. And they made a decision. Maybe I can't help everybody, but I'm going to help this one kid. And someone gave me a scholarship, a private scholarship. A woman who was there for a 2-week medical mission trip gave me a scholarship to the United States, put me through college, medical school, and I'm standing here as a gynecological oncology surgeon. And with that, I've gone back to Malawi now, doing exactly what I'm doing in Malawi. So the ripple effect of her helping one child has actually now turned into helping thousands of women and children and orphans in Malawi now. So you may never be able to meet the person like me that you're going to help, but I can promise you that what you will give to these children, to these women, will have that level of impact even if you never meet them. So there's not going to be $1 that's too small. There's not going to be $1,000 that's too big, because their lifetime potential is in people that are exactly like me. If I wasn't given a chance, I would just be another kid in that village running around.
Yes.
But because somebody saw the potential in me and took that leap of faith and gave, you know, here I am. And we all have the potential to change the lives of people just the way somebody changed mine. You know, and all of us are gifts of that. And we're turned our experiences and our pain to now turning around and looking at other people exactly like us and giving them what we had wished somebody else had given to us.
Correct. Correct. So well said. So well said. I keep at that term, self-made man, self-made person. I always quarrel with it. There's nothing like a really self-made person. Somebody stepped in at some point in time and helped you to get to where it is that you are. So there's nothing like self-made person. Somebody did something at some point. Sometimes it's not even like a full scholarship like she had, but somebody, the teacher that wrote the recommendation for you to get into the school that you got into, the person that actually provided for maybe even your father or your forefather to get to where it is that he is. That's how you have come in, even if you're a third generation wealthy person, you're getting from that wealth. Somebody sweated, worked hard to get to where it is. So we are here to be catalysts. We're here to be people who actually make things happen in whatever way that we can. So I don't know, Dr. Rachel hasn't spoken in a minute. If you want to say something so that we can.
Just been thinking, and I would be remiss if I don't mention this, that sometimes in life, like Pastor Solange said, we make things happen from our experiences. And I remember as a young kid growing up, I lost an auntie through childbirth. And because of the shortages and the limited access to healthcare. And mind you, this was in Douala, the economic capital. But because where she was and what was available wasn't enough. And my auntie was almost like a second mother to me. And I made a decision that I would be a physician to help those that, you know, and when I went to med school, my goal was always to come back, to be that gift that keeps on giving. I also saw people die from just little things, preeclampsia, just things that, you know, even our December experience, we had a young child, from an orphan girl that got impregnated by the Ambazonians, or the rebels. And yes, and the child was sick. There was no money for medicine, and we were just stuck. And we just decided to think outside the box. There are medications we buy from here. We send them, even as we are here. Those that we have seen, we have a registry in Yaoundé, in Limbe, in Tiko, and now in Douala. They can go back on a monthly basis to get refills.
That's an amazing thing.
Yes, and for those that we haven't seen, we do video calls. Thank God for telemedicine. And the nurses that are on the ground that we have trained, they can talk to me. They connect with me or my assistant, who is also a medical assistant here. She used to be in Cameroon with us in Limbe, and we would do. We'll tell them what to do, and we see what we have in stock. Just like Pastor Solange traveled she just came back from Cameroon about a month ago. We sent boxes of medicine. Her daughter, who is an anesthesiologist that joined us for the first time for the medical mission in December, now she just packs everything from the hospital. They are giving things to her. We have never thought about a surgical center, but it's in our mind now that we have a hospital, faith hospital. We don't know what they need, but if there's anything that we have, we transfer to those places we feed each other. So we have that so that we don't have things stuck anywhere. If it comes to the point like we talked about in our last meeting, with Sister Veronique. She and I had known each other. And when she wanted to join us, I was excited. But because we were just starting, we said, let's get to know ourselves. So we really make sure, because we are here for tips, regardless of whether we make money or not. We started giving from our own before we started soliciting from outside. And I particularly, even after losing everything professionally, I still gave through the resources of my family so that they can see me do that which makes me happy, which is serving, reaching out to the underserved. So I want the listeners out there to know that there's nothing that you're doing that we have not even challenged ourselves triple. We have given from our discomfort. We have invested our time. And you can see from Dr. ALANIZ, she is at work, life, but she took the time. I was in Dallas for an ex-student fundraiser for a school, BHS, and I had to leave Dallas at 9 a.m. to make this. You know, I had friends inviting me for different things, but I said, no, I have this meeting because we have a vision. We have a purpose. We have greater things to do apart from me just hanging out and eat. I don't look starved. So if I can just give that, if I can save that to be here and be part of this, I want you all to know that we are really serious about what we do. And if it means we have to pick up second jobs and to get to do what we do, we have done it and we will continue to do it. So don't feel like we are soliciting from you for our own comfort. No, we have given even in our nothing.
Right. Or just sitting back there and then wanting you. Okay. Yes, please, Ms. Veronique, go ahead.
Yes. When Dr. Rachel is talking, I'm having chills and tears in my eyes because I do 12 hours. I have a business that I can stay home and I don't go to work. I can stay home and I don't go to work. But I choose to go and take 3 nights, 12-hour shift to do what I'm doing. As I'm doing it, the joy that is in me. Dr. Rachel, I have a diagnostic center that whoever will go there, you and I will discuss. I have a diagnostic center in Douala, Bonaberry. I have a new clinic that I'm opening, Bethany Medical Clinic in Aqua Nord. So those patients, I'm open. Anytime, just let me know. They will go to the diagnostic center. There's an X-ray there. There's an ultrasound. There's the laboratory is very equipped.
There you go.
The clinic is right there in Douala.
Yeah, Dr. Rachel, we just recently entered Douala in alliance with one clinic there in Douala.
You see?
So I'm there. Coming July. I'm going July. Going back to school. I'm going to Betwa.
Okay.
The children are there. I'm going to Douala, Tico, Limbe. Going back to school, I'll be in Cameroon by the end of July to do my call for going back to school and to open the clinic in August.
Okay.
That is fantastic news.
See, God puts all of us together, people of like minds. We have
exactly.
I am so ready for you guys.
Passion for humanity.
The patients are there to go in. The workers will be there. I will tell them this particular person is coming from this. You guys do this. I'm ready.
Thanks.
That's really
awesome.
the power. That's the power in unity. So as we conclude, and I really appreciate those in Cameroon for staying up till now, because I know the time they have sacrificed a lot. So I really truly want to thank Mr. Che Melvin for being on, and for Mr. Emmanuel Ndongla to also be on this late. And I just wanted to say, for the sake of the viewers, Auntie EGBE, if you would allow, I think everybody can say which organization they belong to. Just say the word, the name, so that if they want to look you up online, they can look you up. Because in as much as we are working together, we don't lose our individuality. And then we can just conclude by giving the date of our event, so that people will leave this interview remembering that organizational partnership is who we are, and they can always go back to the link to look us up. So Auntie EGBE, if that's okay with you, we can
that's perfect. That's perfect. Go right ahead. In fact, you should go ahead and just...
Okay, so the name of ours is Faith Gardens Medical Foundation International. Faith Gardens Medical Foundation International. Thank you.
So yeah, Faith Garden. So if you are looking for the word in Google, Faith Garden Medical Foundation. So there's no S there. So Faith Garden Medical Foundation International.
Perfect. So, and Dr. ALANIZ, what's yours? You're muted. Or did I mute you by mistake? Am I?
Okay, no, it was me. I muted myself. Yes, ours is Potawira International. So it's POTHAWIRA International. Potawira International. And our website is www.potawira.org.
Perfect, perfect. Who's next, Dr. Solange?
Gilgar and MedStar Global Foundation. We also have Gilgar Women International. So our website will be Gilgar and MedStar Global, where you see Gilgar MedStar Center for Humanity.org.
Okay, and that's the same one you are with, Dr. Rachel?
Yes, and currently we have a Gilgar and MedStar Medical Center that is now running on tele and here in Houston, Texas, and we see patients around the Texas area. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Fantastic.
And Ms. Atanga?
Mom Orphanage Global Foundation. Mom, like a mom, Orphanage Global Foundation.
Correct. And that's who you are with, right, Mr. Emmanuel Ndongla?
Yeah, okay. The website is momorphanage.org. Momorphanage.org. The website.
Correct. One word, like momorphanage.org. Correct. This is, and I'm guessing Mr. Che Melvin is also with you, so that's the same organization. Okay, good. So now you don't have an excuse anymore. That's what I keep saying. If you don't know, your ignorance helps you out. But once you've heard it, you cannot unhear what you already heard. So you cannot say, I had my mind, I did not know what to do. And I believe, hey, we are all answerable to somebody when after we're done with it, he says, like, why didn't you help? I didn't know who to help. Like, lie. You actually heard a show, you watched a show that said this, and you did not do anything. So too bad for you if you've listened to this, you managed to hear it, you were passing, and you caught a few words, or you saw a few frames, you've already heard it. So not doing it is disobedience, it's nonchalance, it's just disregard, so you do not have an excuse. But we don't even want you to give out of any duress. We want you to actually understand the vision and actually want to help. There is joy in giving. If you don't give, maybe you don't understand. There is joy in giving. I tell you, some of us don't need to be on any drugs. I get a high out of that. Or out of this saying that, oh my goodness, somebody got to go. I see a kid in a uniform who went to school, and it's because I gave them, I am like, hey, this is it. It is a happy thing. You people don't understand. And they think, no. The more you just sit there with the things every tied up, the less you wonder why you're not an exuberant person. That may be why. Giving of your time, of your talent, and of your resources, it's a win-win. It's going to make you happy. Trust me. Been there, done that, and then look at them. None of them, as they say, looks miserable. It's not because they are the wealthiest people on the planet. It's the joy of giving, the joy that there is in serving your fellow man, in not being comfortable to sit there and be happy and fine. Just you. There's no way that is right. There is no way that is correct. If you just are happy there and it's just you, the more you share it and you put a smile on somebody's face, I tell you, even with the little blogging I do, somebody says, thank you for even posting my father's obituary. For me, it was a matter of sitting down here and getting things done, but it has made somebody happy. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for doing that. So please join and get into that frame of mind, that habit. We're not saying you should get yourself bankrupt, but I don't know anybody who has gotten bankrupt because they were too kind. It never happens. Never happens. There's nobody that says, okay, I gave, and now look at me living under a bridge. It does not happen. It just doesn't. God finds a way of providing for you in the most miraculous of ways to take care of your own needs too, if you're going to be willing to help somebody else. So you don't get destroyed because you gave. So please, look at all these wonderful faces, all these servants who are serving. Just help them. Just encourage them by doing your own bit. You've heard their websites, you know everything about it, or if you don't know more, they have websites. Go read up and see more of what they're doing. I didn't want to get back into what Imelda was saying because I had her on the show before. Those women are out there doing amazing things out there in Doc. And so I know what is going on there, and people are trying their very best, their utmost. So please let us support them. And if nobody else has anything to add, then I'll be going ahead. Were you raising your hand, Mr. Emmanuel?
Yes, I just wanted to say something. In 2019, they gave a very startling remark about the population of African, sub-Saharan African immigrants in the United States. So you have 2.1 million persons there. It's not even the issue of donating $1,000. If everybody that is there can give just $1, it means that we're going to have $2.1 million a month. You can imagine to what extent we are going to take off street children in African countries. We can spread this to Africa within a short time. Africa will be a place to be. So I'm calling on everyone to join, because coming together is a beginning. Stay connected as Madam EGBE is connecting us out there. It is progress, and working together is success. Thank you.
Well said. And if there's nothing else that anybody has to add, then I'm going to go ahead and say, praying for the best for every single one of you, individually and collectively. And come November, because we're going to say something about it as the date is getting nearer and nearer, talk about it some more. But come November, that everything will go smoothly, that you'd raise the funds that you need to be able to continue to do the wonderful work you are doing to benefit mankind in general. So if there's nothing else to do, then I'll go ahead and thank everybody who has been watching, who has been listening. If you're doing this on YouTube, you know you can pause, we'll finish cooking your pot of soup, come back. You can put those little earbuds in and keep listening, but just listen and please take some action to help somebody else. All right? So if not, I'm going to go ahead and end this and say all the best. God bless you with your individual tasks and duties, your individual missions. And see some of you in a couple of weeks here in Charlotte for our constellation. All right, then. God bless and goodbye.
Thank you.